President Johnson, thank you for coming to the Sunday show. We see what has happened in Oklahoma, and the Kentucky legislature overrode the Democratic governor's veto of a bill that restricted abortion access. But talk about the states that have trigger laws that would go into effect if Roe versus Wade is overturned.
Yeah, absolutely. A state like Michigan, in fact, that has a 1930s law on the books that obviously a pre-Roe ban that would revert back to banning access to abortion. And so while we have a number of states, as you mentioned, from Florida signing a 15-week ban to Oklahoma signing in a total abortion ban and criminalizing providers up to 10 years in prison, along with a $100,000 fine. We also have states like Michigan, where the governor is suing to ensure that we can expand access in states.
Yeah.
The emboldenment, I think, just to name the emboldenment, I think is absolutely right, and I think we need to be emboldened on all sides of this.
Right, and I wanted you mentioned Michigan doing things that help secure abortion rights access. What other states are trying to do the same thing that Michigan is doing?
Look, Maryland just this week expanded access by allowing other clinicians to provide care. We have New Jersey just recently passed a Reproductive Freedom Act that also codified Roe, and California has continued to push the boundaries in expanding access to care. So we see a number of states, in light of what is happening, and as you mentioned, we are 7.5 months into SB 8 in Texas, where we actually know what a post-Roe world will look like, when we will see people needing to travel 1,000 miles outside of their own zip code in order to get access to care. And so it's incredibly important, as these states, we're looking at upwards of 26 states that could overturn Roe within or could ban abortion, particularly if Roe falls in the next 90 days. And we have a number of states who are pushing access as well.
I want to play a mashup of what some Republicans are saying to justify what they're doing in terms of limiting a woman's right to choose, a woman's access to reproductive health care. We'll talk about it on the other side.
We are here today to defend those who can't defend themselves. This will represent the most significant protections for life that have been enacted in this state in a generation.
We want Oklahoma to be the most pro-life state in the country. We want to outlaw abortion in the state of Oklahoma.
We're going to respect life here in Kentucky, and that we're going to protect those who cannot speak for themselves. And I think that is an important responsibility of government.
President McGill Johnson, your response to two governors and a state attorney general, the words they had to say.
Look, politicians can't stop abortion. What they are doing is trying to criminalize the people that are seeking the care and the people who are providing it. And I think that's what we need to understand here. There are consequences to this dangerous rhetoric. We saw it just with the arrest last week of Lizelle Herrera in Oklahoma. Governor Stitt also made a joke about arresting Texans coming into the state for abortion care. It has an incredibly harmful, chilling effect for those who are seeking access to care. And it's putting the burden on the people seeking access and the people fighting to protect and ensure that people are able to get access, if they can't get it in their state, to get it out of state. And so I don't know what to say other than it's incredibly harmful. There is no state in the union where banning access to abortion is popular. And we really need people to understand that they have to hold their lawmakers accountable for what they are doing in creating this harm.
Do you think the Supreme Court will indeed overturn Roe v. Wade at the end of this session?
Look, if you listen to the oral arguments, you heard a very clear majority that was willing to let the Mississippi 15-week ban stand. And you also heard justices openly question whether or not Roe was correctly decided. And so when you take that into consideration, I would never try to read the tea leaves necessarily of the Supreme Court. But, you do have to, see with respect to all of these states now that are ushering in even greater restrictions. They have become emboldened because they heard those arguments. And it is very likely that Roe could fall. We know that 80% of Americans believe that Roe should be the law of the land. They believe that lawmakers shouldn't be making these decisions. And yet only 30% believe that Roe is going to fall.
Right.
We have a strong believability gap right now, and we need to close that in order to ensure that we can continue to fight.